Bigger, better, bolder. The cold, hard truth is taking talk to the next level. Right here on Bobo 89.1 FM, Cayman's Community Radio. We are still spilling the tea and committed to being part of the change that Cayman so desperately needs. Join Sandy Hill weekdays from 7:30 a.m. for Premier Access, Cayman Voices, Truthful Thursdays, and much more. Cayman's #1 talk show is now bigger, better, bolder, and more than talk. Getting results with hot topics, consumer reports, court exposés, and more.
I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold, hard truth.
Now, from the CMR studio in Grand Cayman, live, direct, it's the cold, hard truth. Now, join the conversation on 345-936-2626.
That number again is
345-936-2626.
Good morning, Cayman. Happy Friday. Can y'all believe it's Friday already? Oh my gosh. Is it just me or what? Wow. Friday is here. Happy Friday. We got a good show lined up for you guys today, if I might say so myself. Hope you guys had a fantastic week and you're ready to roll into the weekend. I know I'm ready for the weekend. Oh yeah, party time, CMR style. So what's going on in the world? Ooh, Parliament was hot yesterday. Caliente. We're going to get into some of that this morning. We've got some artists joining us for the CMR TV rollout. So that is coming closer. It's inching closer and closer, ever so closer. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the process of getting a project like this kind of where we are now and getting it done, because these things are not for the faint of heart. I mean, some people make it look easy, but I can tell you that when you're on a budget, you don't have Uncle Dart's money, although we're happy to take, I will shamelessly put in a plug for all of my content creators. Uncle Dart, you like to support Caymanians? Step up to the plate, honey child. Show it. Some of these individual content creators need show sponsorships, and there's lots of alignment that can happen with, you know, your different brands. So step up and offer them some help. We will gladly support them in any way that we can. So yes, I'm putting in a shameless plug on behalf of all of the content creators out there. And so it's challenging when you don't have the funding and listen, there are a million reasons in life to not do something. And sometimes there is one reason to do it. So I'm here to tell you guys today, all you need is the one reason to do it. That's it, just the one reason to do it. And you are off to a running start. So your brain has a way of getting in between you and the things that you want to do in life, the things that the goals that you have. And you have got to just tell your brain, yes, there's a million reasons why I shouldn't go out and pursue this degree, why I shouldn't, I always wanted to be a nurse. There's a million reasons why I shouldn't be a nurse. Or, I can't afford it. I got this, I got children, I got all kind of things going on in my life. Lots of reasons, but you only need one reason to get it done. And so a lot of times, as Caymanians, we kind of, we grew up not as tough as our forefathers. You know what I mean? Somebody tells us no, or there's a little bit of a roadblock. Oh my gosh, we feel like the world is about to end. No, 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 honey child. Pick up your bootstraps, pull them up and let us continue and move forward. Yes, there are always going to be naysayers around you. There are always going to be people who don't know your vision, don't understand your vision, or don't even care about your vision. Let me just send them so you can check. Okay. All right, one quick second here. Yeah, so, these things happen. And so what I would say is, the process is never easy. Ask. And you've got to know how to continually, I think I need to write a book about this, how to continue to move forward, even in the face of adversity, because adversity is always going to be there in one form or another. And you got to just say, you know what? Yes, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be difficult. And I'm still going to do it regardless. Nothing is perfect. Yes. Okay. Sorry, I had to just send out an urgent message on something. But yeah, nothing is perfect, folks. And like I said, life has a way of always trying to throw doubt in your mind and throw us curveballs and stuff like that. And you just have to find a way to step over those hurdles and keep going. So this has been a lesson in just like when we first started CMR, everybody tells you no. Everybody says, this is not going to happen. You can't do this. This is going to be a failure. No one wants to listen to you. No one's going to read your online publication. Oh, you're such a troublemaker. You're this, you're that. And you say, okay, thank you. Thank you so much for your thoughts, but that ain't got nothing to do with me. Yep, that's what you say. Thank you for the no. Make the no be your motivator, honey child. Every time somebody tells you no, you just say, oh, next. Keep moving. Just keep it going. For every no you get, all you need is one yes, and you're well on your way. So I don't pay any attention to the naysayers because, they ain't got nothing better to do. They're over at CNS in the comment section trying to make themselves feel better. Oh, it's hilarious when you guys send me their comments. I'm like, and this is going to pay anybody's bills? Is this going to stop anybody? No. You just keep going. And eventually people will come around. I want to tell y'all a story. I'm going to tell y'all a story, and I'm going to tell you multiple stories this morning about when people tell you no, how that turns into them eventually coming to you and trying to ask you for a yes. Isn't that crazy? All right. MP Famous, I see you, honey child. I'm coming to you. Good morning. Here's story number one. During COVID, the CMR team, Kevin, big shout out to Kevin Watler. He's now a civil servant, so he's doing his own thing there with MRCU, trying to keep us mosquito free with the team. He's the PR person informing us on what's happening, all the hard work that organization does. And they do work very, very hard. Trust me. You notice that we've been getting a little bit of relief from the mosquitoes. That's because they hit them hard, honey child. They went in there with a kaboom, spraying them and doing the most. So during COVID, we saw early on that a lot of people were at home and they were struggling, like mental health wise, right? Human beings are social creatures. So despite the fact that is changing with social media, the advent of social media and the advent of addictions like social media, we're still social creatures because we're even using social media to interact with each other. Now, some of y'all are using it to interact with AI. You get yourself an AI fiance that you want to get married to, but we're social creatures. We need interaction. We need dialogue. We need touch. The other day was International Kissing Day. I was going to do a thing on this because International Kissing Day, kissing is so important. And it's not just romantic kissing. It's like kissing your kids on the cheek, hugging them. Research shows hugging somebody for 35, 45 seconds builds a bond that is like nothing else can do that. That's why when you have a baby, the first thing they tell the mother is, here, let us give you this baby. Hold the baby, put the baby on your chest, because you are going to create a relationship through physical touch with that baby. Fathers, sit there with the baby on your bare chest and connect that, have that bond that throughout their lives, they will be inseparable from you because you've made an early connection to them. So human relationships, touching, talking, interacting with each other, so critical to our survival as a species, okay? And so during COVID, the team recognized a lot of people, because we were in isolation, a lot of people didn't have that. And that's one of the reasons why this show went daily early on during COVID, because everybody all day long, my phone was blowing up. Like, people were just like, what are you doing? Can we talk? And I was like, oh my God, why don't we just have a collective format here where we can check in with each other? We can try to go through, the press briefings. We can try to understand what the government is saying to us, what's going on. And just, it was like we needed community. We needed each other. And so I saw the need to have the show go daily. Other people in the team, Misha and Kevin, they were like, we need mental health assistance as well. There are people who all of a sudden were in abusive relationships, children, adults. Now you're with your abuser in the home 24/7, or you were just struggling because you couldn't go to school. Your routine was upended. I remember, Gigi, she would have only been 2-3 years old, and she was struggling to understand, why do I have to wear this mask if I go out in public? Like, this is so weird. And she was scared the first time she went out and saw everybody masked up, and like, why are people looking like this, right? So it was hard. It was like mentally hard to process and to go through what we did. And so the team recognized early on that maybe we could do with a mental health show. And so they reached out to a particular, I'm not going to call her name, but they reached out to a particular mental health professional here in Cayman. She has a mental health company. And they were like, hey, we would like to invite someone from your company to come on. What do you think about it? Da, 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 da. And her response, let me just say that her response was less than desirable. Oh no, we don't want to come on CMR. We don't want anything to do with CMR, because one time she shared something about one of my workers had gotten an accident, and she posted that up. My worker didn't like it, and it was like, okay. And she just kept going on and on and on and on and on. And they were like, that's kind of what we do, but this is a wonderful opportunity, yada, yada, yada. No. And then at some point she kind of came around, but then she wanted to do it on her terms. Like, if I come on, you can never put anything about me or my staff. And when they were coming back, giving me this feedback and showing me the messages, I said, pump the brakes. Sometimes in life, when people tell you no, just graciously accept it and move on. So I remember sending her a message, and I can't even remember now all the details of it, exactly what I said, but I was like, you know what? That's fine. Thank you for your no. And we will just continue, and we will do what we got to do. So as it turns out, I guess a lot has changed since then. And she has had a change of heart. And all of a sudden, she now wants to come and be part of the CMR journey. And she has literally been begging, directly and indirectly, to be part of the CMR programming. And I have kindly said no to her by, number one, not even responding to her messages. That's a no. When people don't respond to you, take that as a no. Because it's not the fact that she said no. because there have been lots of people over the years who have said no, changed their minds, and now are number one fans and they're on the program. It's not that she said no, it was how she did it, how she responded to two people who were like doing pro bono work, basically, in terms of mental health. This was a very, very important topic. They wanted to have professionals come on and talk about this. And her response and the way that she went on about it, I was just like, girl, take several seats. And now that she wants to be here, I now have the opportunity to respond to her, and I'm doing it as professionally as I can. And it is a resounding no, ma'am, no, thank you, not today, not tomorrow, and definitely not next year. So, the lesson for the first segment of the show this morning is take your no's graciously. I always say a no means not now. It doesn't necessarily mean a no forever. It means not now. And you continue forward. Life is full of no's, and you only need one yes. And on that note, Mr. Famous, I need a yes from you this morning, honey child. Are you having a good Friday?
Yes. Good morning to
There it is.
people of. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yes. Good morning to the people of Cayman Islands, Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, and Cayman Brac.
I love how you always name out and include the sister islands. Thank you so much.
Yes,
and yes, there
indeed.
are indeed three of us. How are you?
I'm blessed. I like that story you said earlier.
Yeah. You know, people, sometimes we take no's personally, and yeah, we're all humans, you know, but we're pushing forward, and this is going to be an amazing journey. You know, we have been at this for a while. You've been part of the CMR journey now for a number of years with Territories Talk, which is what we're going to be talking about this morning. And we are now leveling up in 2025. This is the year to, as we say, go big or go home. You know what I'm saying? You got a choice. You're going to go big and bold over here, or you're going to go home and sit in a corner and cry over spoiled milk. We're not going to do that. We're going to get up and we're going big and bold. And so the CMR platform is growing from strength to strength. And we are launching our CMR TV component of it. We're doing it in certain phases, and you continue to be part of the journey. So, of course, I want to talk to you this morning about Territories Talk. Tell us how you first even heard about Cayman Mall Road.
Who's never heard of Cayman Mall Road? Let me say, I've always started about Cayman Islands, and my first and only visit so far to Cayman Islands was in 2018. I came there for a CPA conference, which was held at the Marriott. And whilst there, I met a number of local parliamentarians, let me put it that way. One of whom we struck an immediate friendship. That's now MP Kenneth Bryant. And he took a group of us from other overseas territories. He took a group of us to Rooster, I don't know if it was called Rooster Radio, but to Woody DaCosta show.
Yeah, Rooster 101.9. That's right.
Right. So we can all speak on what's happening in our overseas territories. And what we found is inevitably that 90% of what's going on in your country is the same thing going on in my country. The only difference is that we have different dialects. Our flags may have a different crest, but apart from that, it's 90% the same. And then while speaking on it, he also took me to Radio Cayman, where I spoke with O'Connor. And in between that, he got a phone call from a gentleman who said that he wanted to meet me. And he came to the hotel and met me, and it was one Billy Adams. I think you may know him, right? So Billy Adams, I have to give him the credit, always give him the credit that he was the one who I would say somewhat insisted that we continue the conversation of the territories talking amongst ourselves in the public, right? Not the premiers talking, because they give canned responses and so on, but the ordinary people of the territories. So We started a radio show once a month called Territories Talk. And then in 2021, during the height of COVID, as you said earlier,
Mm-hmm.
myself, my cousin in the Virgin Islands, and there was a person from West Bay or Bass Bay, whichever way you want to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Eden Hurlston, we started Territories Talk online. So that's how it came about. So that's why I always give credit to the Cayman Islands and Billy Adams for putting that seed in place. So this is so back to how I heard about CMR.
Mm-hmm.
The minute CMR was out there, they was like, "Look, you got to look at this." You know, people will send me links to look at your show and so on and so forth. So that's how I know about CMR.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Thank you so much. And that gives us a little bit of a recap of how Territories Talk got started, of course. And it's an important show. So tell us a little bit about the content that you have been creating and how that has been going for you so far.
All right, so the online version has been going for since 2021 during COVID when we couldn't travel as much. So what we do either monthly or bi-weekly, we have guests on from different islands because of the overseas territories. We have Cayman Islands, we have Anguilla, we have the British Virgin Islands, we have Montserrat, we have Turks and Caicos Island, and we also have where I am in Bermuda, right? So we have guests on, whether they be politicians, whether they be historians, whether they be persons to dealing with different civic organizations,
Mm-hmm.
who just tell the story about their island, tell the story about what's happening in their island at present, and it resonates with persons from other islands because it's all the same story, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The issues that we're dealing with, cost of living, whether it be housing, whether it be things to do with women's rights. We have a specific program called Women in Leadership where I'm not the host of that show. There are women from other islands who are the guests and the host. So it's completely women in charge, talking about issues that affect them and the progress that they've made, whether it be in politics, whether it be in business, so on and so forth. So that's sort of the cut and thrust of territory. So we've had guests from other islands, the bigger islands, but our focus is primarily on the British overseas territories and smaller territories such as the Dutch islands and some of the French islands.
Mm.
You know, they're basically giving a voice to the little people, right?
Yes,
Or the quote
absolutely.
unquote little people. Little people.
Yeah. You mentioned that, and this is so interesting for me, MP Famous, because you talk about we all have similar issues. Now, I know Cayman, we always say that, no, you know, Caymanians, we're unique, we're different. There's nobody like us. And our problems are uniquely Caymanian. This is one of the things I always find that's a bit of a quandary because we think that, you know, we only have the experience, a lot of us, of living here. But 99.99999% of the problems that we have, there are other people experiencing the exact same thing, and specifically other people in the region. And Bermuda and Cayman have a lot of similarities. I know you guys have a smaller population than we do. What's your population at now?
It depends on who you speak to, but let's just say it's safe to say 60,000.
So it's not far. It's probably not that far off from us, but yes.
No, we're no more than about 60,000 at present.
Right.
You all have exceeded us. Maybe post COVID, you all exceeded us.
Uh-huh.
You went from 58,000 to we are now 90,000. So
yeah, I don't know if we're quite that high, but probably like 80. I don't know. But anyway, like you said, depends on who you ask, right? Census has one number and everybody else is like, But you know, we have a lot of similar although historically we may have differences, or present conditions a lot of times are very, very similar, whether we're looking at finance, we're looking at housing crises, like you said, issues related to women and women's rights, protecting children. I mean, mental health, wellness and care. There's just so much synergy between all of the Caribbean jurisdictions. And so I think that having Territories Talk is important, if for no other reason than it provides this sort of linkage between us for us to sit and go, wow, okay, so Bermuda is dealing with this. Are they coming up with any different and innovative solutions that maybe we haven't thought about? And vice versa. They might be looking at us and saying, well, how is Cayman dealing with these issues? Are they doing something that we could look at to say, if this is something we can take on board? There's some things that have been tried and tested and have proven not to work. That then we go, we're not going to probably try that methodology because that has proven to not be effective. So I think the conversation at a regional level is so incredibly important. And I can't think of any other program other than Territories Talk that is really seeking to connect us in that way. Are you aware of anybody else even trying to do a program like this?
I can't speak on what I don't know, but what I do know is that most news, let's say you have news in Jamaica, or you have news in Guyana, they would headline what's going on in their country, and then they would go to a small, say, 2-minute snippet of what's going on in the region, right? But our focus is on the region on a whole. It isn't, for lack of a better term, it isn't insular, because our current hosts are my cousin Shayna Smith Archer, who's in the Virgin Islands, Speaker Shirley Osborne in Montserrat, myself in Bermuda, and maybe one day I get another host from Cayman Islands. So we keep that by that way we keep our view as wide as possible, because we're not none of us are trying to just highlight our own island. So I don't know about any other program. I just know about us.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, the conversations and your guests I find always intriguing. So give us a little flavor of some of the shows that you have had in the past.
Okay, so from Cayman Islands, we had Miss Shirley Rulstone. I may have pronounced that incorrectly.
Ralston, yep.
We've had Johan Moxham. I think he's one of your top viewers.
Always here begging brownies.
We've had Lisa McKenzie from the environmental department. From the Virgin Islands, we've had the current Premier, Honorable Natalia Wheatley. We've had the Premier of the Montserrat. We've had several ministers from Bermuda, several ministers from Turks and Caicos Island. We've had last 2 months ago, we were pleased to have the very first female premier of Anguilla, who is the Honorable Cora Richardson Hodge.
Wow.
And so I'm using those as the not top, but as a politician. But we've had persons from almost every of the small islands. There's a small island called St. Eustatius that most people don't know about.
What's the island called?
St. Eustatius. It's a small island. It's basically 8 square miles. It's in between St. Kitts and St. Martin. Population of 4,000 people.
Wow.
And so we've highlighted a number of guests from there. We've highlighted the deputy premier.
Who are they linked with? Are they independent?
Oh, sorry. They are Dutch.
Oh, okay.
They are Dutch colony.
Okay.
So what a lot of people don't realize is that, yes, we have the English colonies, or the former English colonies, but we have 6 Dutch colonies in the Caribbean, which is St. Martin, Saba, St. Eustatius, Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao. And we have a number of French colonies, which is St. Martin. St. Martin is split in 2. So French St. Martin. We have also Martinique, Guadeloupe, and a small island called Marie Saint. I forgot the exact name. But this speaks to the reason, because most of these islands get lost in the conversation about the Caribbean, right? And someone via Territories Talk and a bigger platform via Cayman Maori helps to highlight the stories of the smaller islands, because it's the exact same thing. The issues that you all are having in Cayman Island with immigration, the issues that you're having with housing, the issues you're having with the cost of living, that's the exact same thing going on in Bermuda right now. But we through Cayman Maori, we are going to be able to give the voice of Cayman Maori TV
Mhm.
to give a voice to persons in these small islands. So we're ever grateful for your telling us yes, and not like the other lady telling us to travel.
Like I said, a lot of times it comes down to how you engage with people, and there's nothing wrong with saying no to people. I mean, we have to say no to people all the time. And I tell people, I say, listen, no is a full sentence. No. You don't have to give an explanation. You don't have to give a reason, whatever. But I think a lot of times it's how you do it. So you and I have always had a very, very good working relationship. By the way, my cousin who you met, I think, on a recent trip, said to tell Mr. Famous, I said hello.
Did she deliver my message? Did
Yes,
you get?
I got your gift. Thank you so
Yes,
much. I appreciate
because
it.
yeah, she was her last year, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yes, matter of fact, last May she was here, and
Mhm.
I don't know how the conversation came up, and she said, "Oh yeah, Sandy's my cousin." So I said, "Yeah, okay, here, make sure you give her this." I'm not saying what this is, but it wasn't bribery. But
Yes. Thank you so much. We've got a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Morning.
Um, as I was listening to the conversation about the issues that we have in common
Hmm.
in the territories, I think what is described as issues are symptoms.
Mm.
But what the issue is that the UK was one of the authors of Article 73 of the UN Charter, which
Mhm.
specifically says that our interest is paramount. But
Mm.
when it came to legislating the Cayman Islands Constitution Order, they
Mhm.
put into that document that their interest was paramount, and we
Mm.
accepted it. So we've accepted the sleight of hand, the contradiction. I think that wasn't just accidental. That's by design.
Mhm.
And because we've accepted that, I think we're facing these symptoms.
Mm.
And I don't think it's going to get better until we deal with the actual disease, which is
Mhm.
their complicity, their outright lies, their deception, their manipulation of these populations.
Mhm.
Think about it. They don't even want to have regional seminars in the territories themselves. So
Mm.
they're only willing to talk about the territories in other countries.
Mm. Denny, you went deep this morning. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Mr. Famous, do you
mm.
guys have as part of your program where people can call in? So someone like Denny, if you're having a discussion, is he able to call into the show?
No, we use the exact same platform that you use in StreamYard. So if
Yes.
persons want to send in a message or a comment, we same thing. We highlight it, and we'll if they have a question, we'll able to
Yeah.
we're
So maybe
able
I need
to
to get you guys
answer.
sorted out with a board and all that stuff so you can start taking calls.
Yeah, let's
Well,
step it up. You know.
give me a reason to come to Bermuda, child.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So, looking to always use engagement, I remember when you and I first started talking, I said, absolutely, utilize your platform, take control of the back end here so that you guys can stream your shows. You pretty much have total creative control over what you do on Territories Talk. And I know a lot of people have been enjoying it for quite some time. And I was just sitting here having a quick look at Facebook. We've got over 250 people right now watching the live stream between our three areas
Hello,
that we're on.
everybody.
And just to show you once again the reach, I mean, and this is kind of a slow day, to be honest. I think because it's Friday, I don't know what people are up to, but let me show you. There's a couple other people streaming online right now in the region. We've got Antigua Observer. They have a show called Observer AM with Dr. Jackie Quinn. They only have 41 people watching them, but they're part of our, sister, like the sisterhood, if you will, of Caribbean islands. We have the morning show coming out of Belize Love FM, and they've only got 13 people watching them. That's news and music power. So through this collaboration, that Territories Talk has forged with Cayman Mall Road, I feel like you reach an amazing audience. And there are lots of these, like I follow these pages, and in turn, a lot of people regionally follow us. We have a huge following in Jamaica. We've got Honduras and the Bay Islands. Of course, we've got all 3 islands here in Cayman. We have, people in other Bermuda. Paul is normally here every morning watching us live from Bermuda. So we have a following from sort of all over. And I think that that's really important to, continue to forge the relationships that we have within the territories.
Yeah, one thing that I forgot to mention is subsequent. You were one of our first media partners, so we're eternally grateful for that. Subsequent to that, we've been able to forge media partnerships with Radio Turks and Caicos Island, CBN Radio in the Virgin Islands, or they were one of the first as well. Radio Montserrat, Channel 82 in Bermuda. So what we do is if we do this show pre-recorded, what we'll do is send either the video file or the audio file to our media partners, and persons in other islands are able to hear it every Thursday. It's aired in Turks and Caicos Island. Every week it's played in Bermuda. Every week it's played in the Virgin Islands. So I say that to say that as quote unquote non-legacy media houses, what we have to do is work together. That's the only way you collaborate and you're able to spread your message, because people rather be Bermuda, like we have Bermuda News, sir. I work on the radio station in Bermuda. We have a 1 hour show every Thursday. They have a news show that is every night, half an hour, right? But after 15 minutes, they've run out of local material. Right? So they go to the weather, they go to sports. So I say that to say is that when us as Caribbean people allow an avenue to tell stories from other islands, we increase our viewership. Everybody's online now. We increase the stories that are told, we increase our viewership, and we have to put down the not you and I per se, but us as smaller media houses have to put down this. You got to protect your turf, but you got to also expand your footprint. And I congratulate you for expanding. Since I met you, you've expanded to the radio show in the morning, and you're now expanding to the television. So I applaud your tenacity. All the court trials that they've come with you at, right? I remember election 2021. You actually had me on as one of your co-hosts for that night. Literally all night into the morning helping, right? And now you're part of the election mainframe where I let me just be frank. The PAC government, right?
The previous PAC administration, yes. And now
that's all PACT, right? The PAC government was formed because you put pressure, right? CMR, your listeners put pressure on people in East End and put pressure on somebody in I want to say Boddington or Savannah, I think somewhere there. Well, yes, sorry, my apologies. And you're like, what? You're wavering? You're going over? No. That's not what the people want. And that's how the PAC. Let's be frank. That's how the PAC government was able to get over the line, right? So that tells you the power of CMR, right? Now you're part of the ecosystem when it comes to the Chamber of Commerce debates. I sit down and watch this religiously. I can look at that and say, nah, they're not gonna make it. You know what I mean? But I just say that to say, not taking it lightly, but saying that this is what grassroots media does. Your package is able to speak to the people, inform them, right? People may not like how you say something. They might not even like what you say. But it's been proven they can't take you to court for slander no more.
Well, they can take me to court, but the likelihood of them winning is pretty nil, especially if it's the truth, So yes, absolutely. Well, thank you. I mean, thank you so much for that endorsement. And, the other thing that we do here in CMR, which no other media house in the Cayman Islands does, is we report on regional news. So if you go to our website, for example, you will find countless stories where we're talking about people who are excelling in politics and sports. Recently we did a story on Mr. Bolt, Usain Bolt, who actually was entered into the Guinness World Record, and he was awarded an Icon Award. We did that on June the 20th. We have a whole section when you go to our website for regional news. And when you click on that, you can see the story before that. Jamaica recorded a murder-free day, which was a record for them. That hadn't happened, where they had a 24-hour period with no homicides. And that hadn't happened in a number of years. That was a significant milestone. Tourism markets, so watching tourism trends like across the region. So we watch and monitor regional stories connected to Caribbean people, regardless really of where they are. Even this guy here in May, we reported about him being arrested in Florida, but he's a Jamaican educator. So we watch everything. We're kind of in everybody's business, if you want to look at it that way.
Mhm.
I think reporting on regional news, because Cayman does have a very diverse population, allows people to feel connected to home. One of the most amazing stories this week, or I would say maybe the amazing story this week, was this Caymanian student who's actually going to UE, the University of West Indies, at the Mona campus. And she has claimed all 3 top academic prizes at the Faculty of Medical Sciences pledge ceremony. So Brianna Bodden, big shout out to Brianna, made history and has come tops, microbiology clerkship at the Mona campus. She got the best overall academic performance in pathology. And, kudos to her. She's doing so well as she pursues her medical degree. This is big news. Yes, she's a Caymanian, but she's actually studying in Jamaica at the Mona campus. So, we try to highlight people all over the region, whether it's the Bahamas, Bermuda, anywhere that something interesting is happening, because once again, we see lots of things happening regionally that impact all of us. And we like to celebrate the wins. Sometimes we have to report on the not so good news and the losses, but we also like to, celebrate the wins, and when our countries and our people are doing amazing things and, getting things right. There was an earlier story in May about 3 countries, Belize, Jamaica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, have successfully eliminated mother-to-child transmission of HIV. And that's big news. That's something that we can all, seek to make sure that we're highlighting, and we can learn from those types of things as well. So, Mr. Famous, your show is a weekly show, and we want to thank you for coming on this morning.
No problem. I just want to address something that your caller called in. He is totally correct, right? The fact that you and I are distinctively people of color, right?
Yes.
The fact that many people in Cayman Island are people of color, different shades of color, but people of color, right? The fact that we're over here speaking English is indicative of colonialism. And colonialism didn't end with 1834 with the abolition of slavery, right? The English, as he said, have, rather be the English, the Dutch, the French, they have continued the colonial project by, as he said, putting their priorities first, right? One of the challenges that I see in Cayman Islands is you Caymanians, unfortunately, now are the minority in the own country, right? We have an opposition politician that's advocating for Bermuda to become like Cayman Islands, in a sense, to say, well, look how successful Cayman is. Look how their GDP is going up. Look at this. And you're saying, hold on, the people are now the minority in the own country, right? One of your key election issues this past election was immigration. You, not you, but your minister, your premier,
Mr. Andre Ebanks.
Andre Ebanks, Honorable Ebanks, and your immigration minister, Michael Miles, have taken steps to say, well, what we are going to not necessarily make radical changes, but we are going to be the path we're on is unsustainable. So I say that to say is that there is a mindset amongst those who have a colonial mindset, be whatever complexion they may be, that the interests of non-belongers come first and the interests of belongers come second. And this is one of the things that we always give a voice to, that no, these are our islands. We have to come first. So I will end at that note.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. Big shout out to Marcia joining us from Florida. We have Crystal joining us from Guanaja, the Bay Islands of Honduras. And we always know that we have an international viewership pretty much every single day, people from all over the world who are tuned in. So good morning to all of you. MP Famous, his show is called Territories Talk, folks. You can catch it on Wednesdays. I'm trying to remember. Give us the time.
I'm not sure what days it's gonna be on CMR
let me
TV.
Double check because I've got you. Let me just pull up my. I'm having to write everything down these days, MP Famous, but I've got you on Wednesdays. Oh, it looks like I need to fill in your date, but I think we have you down for like Wednesdays at 7, I believe. So I'm going to double check that because yes.
All right. Well, whatever time frame, we're eternally grateful on behalf of my co-host, Shanna Smith Archer of the Virgin Islands, and speaker Shirley Osborne of Montserrat, and Paul D of Bermuda, and also shout out to Eden Harrelson of West Bay or Bestway, and love you all, especially you, Billy Adams.
Yes. All right. Thanks very much. So weekly, you can join the show, and we're going to put up the TV guide. We're still tweaking the guide a little bit, but we'll put up the TV guide on the website once that goes live so that you guys can get to see exactly what shows are on when. And my tech guy was telling me last night that he has a little maintenance thing over maintenance mode is on for CMR TV. So that's coming. That will go live on Monday. And so we are so looking forward to that. So thank you, Mr. Famous, Tom or Christopher Famous. And sometimes you get to read some of his submissions as well in the form of his editorial submissions. So MP Famous, work out a trip to Bermuda for me, and I will bring some equipment with you and show you guys how to start doing live calls also on your program.
Yeah, there's one other thing I have to mention before I go. I remember maybe 3 years ago, you ran one of my articles about emancipation. And
I had you on the show, I think, too.
Right. And subsequent to that, you had the then Premier, Honorable Wayne Panton, on the show, who said that his cabinet had a conversation or discussion that you all are now going to start looking to celebrate Emancipation Day or emancipation celebrations in Cayman Islands, which hadn't been done for quite a while, 60 years, I think. Right.
Right. Yeah.
And subsequent to that, you all now celebrating Emancipation Week or something, and I think you kind of put Pirates Week aside to the side or something.
Well, it's still there. It's more of a trying to make it more close.
The point I'm saying that through collaboration of you and I, right? I'm not Caymanian in any way, shape, or form, but
yeah,
it's important that we understand from whence we came, and I thank you for doing that.
Yes. And I mean, it also, kudos and a big shout out to Mr. Wayne Panton, but it also demonstrates that he was listening to the conversation, and him and the rest of the cabinet took it on board. So maybe there's a lot that we have kind of pushed people gently and sometimes not so gently, especially our governments towards considering and getting moving and, all these different types of initiatives. But yeah, good point. Well, thank you again. So it's MP Thomas Christopher Famous. He was just reelected because I think you guys had elections recently as well. So congratulations.
In February.
Right? Congratulations.
Four overseas territories had elections this year: Bermuda, Cayman Islands, Anguilla, and Turks and Caicos.
Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations on your win. Now you're part of the government. So are you a minister or what position?
Yes, I'm part of the government, the Progressive Labour Party. We have in Bermuda, we have 36. Our parliament consists of 36 seats. The Progressive Labour Party has 25 of those 36 seats.
Wow.
I am the ambassador to, as you can see here, CARICOM flag. My role is I'm the ambassador to CARICOM, which basically means all the Caribbean islands, and I'm also the chairman of the Bermuda Housing Corporation. So,
fantastic. All right. Well, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
thank you for the time. Love you, Kanan.
All righty. Bye-bye. All right, so that's fantastic. And I've actually formed another group, Mr. Famous, he didn't mention this, but for Caribbean media. So we have some people in there from Jamaica, from even Miami. We have Miss Jacqueline, oh gosh, her last name, Jacqueline Charles, who does, she reports for the Miami Herald and all of the English-speaking Caribbean countries. So we have a little WhatsApp group where we can, exchange ideas, we can talk, we can have conversations, because again, there's a lot regionally that's happening in the world of news. So thank you so much. Cameron says, what is the interest in Cayman that Bermuda wants? If you were paying attention from the beginning, you could see it's just about information sharing and talking to each other and so on. All right. So Ms. Marjorie says, I'm happy to live in Cayman, a British colony. I left Jamaica 52 years ago to come and live here. Okay. Don't stress the British part too much, honey child. We are Caribbean people first and foremost. And up next, we're going to switch now to another content creator on Cayman Mall Road. And this one, it's a very different kind of twist, but this is an artistic twist. So actually, let me welcome, and you guys have seen and heard her beautiful voice before, none other than Elizabeth Evans. Good morning, honey child.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Fantastic. So some of you might recognize Elizabeth from some of her street coverage of protests. And she was also here during the election day coverage, given perspective from a young Caymanian mother, entrepreneur, and, just a young Caymanian. So I'm really, really happy to have you in the studio today. And Elizabeth, we're going to be talking a little bit about your show and what we can actually expect from you. So this is pretty exciting stuff. So tell us a little bit about what you're bringing to the table under the CMR TV umbrella.
Okay, so my show is probably a little unexpected. People probably are going to be like, what? She's doing an art show? So it's actually going to be called The Art Beat. And the vision for this show is to have all things art, all things creative art. Starting off, we're going to be doing mostly like tutorials of, how to draw this or how to do this, little arts and crafts for kids. And then I also want to do some interviews of local artists. And perhaps once a month or once every other month, also to feature local art galleries.
Yes.
Eventually, the hopes is to go into other creative arts, such as dance, drama, music, all of the different creative arts. But for the start of the show, we're going to focus on doing the tutorials, the crafts, and interviewing local artists.
Okay, so this is great because the art world I think is really actually quite vibrant here in Cayman, and I'm always reminded of that during Cayman Art Week, for example, because you get to see the different types and different forms of art. There are people who do sculptures, there are people who are painting. There's all sorts of creativity that is happening right here on our little island, and I'm personally blown away by the amount of talent that we've got here. We have absolutely no shortage of talent. So, Elizabeth's show is going to be highlighting a lot of that talent. And so I'm encouraging all of you to reach out to her if you want to be part of that and be featured on her program. So tell us how did this idea, Elizabeth, come to you? You're smiling.
Well, I've always had a love for art.
Yes.
Growing up, it just was something that I always loved and enjoyed. I'm I'm not gonna say I'm an artist or a world renowned or, I don't sell my art, but I love art.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's something very therapeutic about doing art. And so recently, well, recently as in like the last year or two, I I had struggled a lot with anxiety, um, and to the point of like panic attacks. And
Mhm.
was one of the ways that basically was therapy to me, and really helped to like center my thoughts and kind of just forget the world around you as you focus on just creating
Mhm.
art. And so I had been doing a lot of stuff and just, playing with different art forms, different mediums, watercolor paint, stuff like that. And kind of every once in a while I'd post on my social media, and then you and I were talking and you're like, you gotta do a show, you gotta do a show. And I'm like, well, I don't love being on camera, so I'm not sure. And you're like, well, why don't you just do an art show? And I was like, wait, what? Is that really a thing? Can that, take off? And then as I thought about it more, there's so many things that I can do with the show. There's so many directions I can go with the show. Like I said, I can go into the creative arts. I can do drama, dance, different stuff like that. It doesn't just have to be, one-sided. And so that's where everything kind of started from there, just naturally, I guess. And I'm really excited. I'm excited to not be on the camera.
Yes. Um, so her hands and her voice will be featured on camera. But I want to say that it was so interesting actually when Elizabeth mentioned that she was using art. And I think you were in my office and you saw one of my adult coloring books. And so we were talking about how adults use, and I'm not a therapist, obviously, but I do know that there's a whole world out there where coloring and art, I'm going to show you guys this, actually helps you. It's very, very therapeutic. It takes you back, for me, it takes you back to a place in your life where life was simpler. You know what I mean? You were like a child. And so when you were first learning how to color and you had to stay in the lines. And I mean, look at this example here of the things that you can do. You can get so intricate and so creative with art of all forms. And so it's amazing how, she mentioned art as therapy. And I think that that in and of itself is something that we can explore as a completely sort of sub conversation. But I love to see people work. So even just watching someone coloring for me or painting is therapeutic. And I think it's therapeutic for you guys to pull out your crayons, pull out your colored pencils. There are these colored pencil sets that are absolutely amazing. And there's a lot that you can do. I mean, there's all forms of different coloring. Ease yourself into it. What I have to ease myself in is the color by number books. So use those because that makes life a little bit easier. And then as you get a little bit more artistic, or not artistic, but maybe experienced, then you can start to do a bit more with the coloring. So it's fun. It is very, very interesting to do. And I would say her show is going to be something that you will find your kids will enjoy equally as much as yourself as an adult. There's just a whole world out there that arts and crafts and projects that is completely unexplored, if you will, that people don't even think about. Because even people who do embroidery and sewing, to me, that is a form of art. Like I've seen
Definitely.
my aunt doing like quilts and stuff. It is just so therapeutic for her to just sit down and quilt a blanket and put the patches together. And there's just something about doing needlework work and doing art, doing things with your hands. And it just, in my mind, it just relaxes the brain in a different way. And I always encourage parents to get your children involved more with the coloring. Now, listen, the adult coloring books can be very, very intricate. I'm going to show you guys some samples here. You could actually, specialize in particular areas. Like if you want to do, animals or whatever, there's some books that are completely mixed. So you can do whatever you want. You don't even need to put a book. You can go online and download a lot of these things for completely no cost at all. Just print it off. But I'll show you some examples here. Look at this. And they're just very intricate and getting in there with your colors. I mean, it's beautiful. And so Elizabeth is going to be doing a lot of this. And this is where I say the power of no and manifesting that into a yes, right? So Elizabeth says, listen, I don't like being on camera. I'm not really that person, although she's here today and she looks amazing. We all give her virtual applause. Okay, she doesn't like being on camera, but Elizabeth has a talent. And so, maybe it's not about being on camera that she doesn't like. It's more like, okay, I don't want my face on camera, but I don't mind voicing a bit. I don't mind showing people the art and stuff that I actually do. So I'm very, very excited about her segment. Here's some colors. I love all the color markers and stuff. So there's lots of things you can purchase. This is like an 80-piece set. We can get this for you by tomorrow, Elizabeth. Isn't this cool? These are the permanent art markers for drawing. Ooh, there's 168 pieces in one.
One thing that I really intend to do with the show is to show people who may be intimidated by art and thinking, oh well, I'm not creative enough or I'm not artistic, is that really and truly art, there's no wrong way to do art, and it's not intimidating. And I want to show people that there are a lot of ways to create beautiful art pieces. Like, you would be surprised some of the art pieces that you see people selling, how easy it is to create that. One of the shows I'm going to do about fluid art, which is using acrylic paint, different pouring techniques to create like beautiful. I don't know if you could pull up, just do a search of fluid acrylic art, and you can see the beautiful pieces that people create, and it's super easy. And so I want to show people how to do those kind of things and not be intimidated by art. Another vision that I have for one of the shows is to do a whole show on
what was that one called? Fluid art?
Fluid art.
Okay.
Fluid. And then one of my other visions is to do a whole show on local thatch work. Like, that is art. Creating and making baskets and hats out of thatch, that is art. And I want to feature that, show our heritage and our culture. So if you're listening today and you know someone who's interested specifically in that, in showcasing their thatch work and kind of giving us a little step-by-step of how it's done, please have them reach out to Miss Sandy and she can pass on my contact information. I would love to get in touch with them. That's definitely one of the people that I would love to feature on my show.
Well, I'm going to actually show, Elizabeth didn't know that I was going to do this, but I'm actually going to show a little snippet. Once the juices started working for her, she's like, oh my God, she got very, very excited about this. And she right away did like a little sample video. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of what you can expect from her work. Now, listen, the content creators, and we're going to talk about this a little bit because I think Elizabeth can give you guys some cold, hard truth of what you can expect. If this is something that you're thinking about, you're like, oh my God, yes, I'm going to reach out to Sandy. And you think that I am going to be doing it for you. That's not exactly how it works. So we'll talk about that here in a second. But look at what Elizabeth was able to put together.
Hey guys, welcome to All Things Art. For today's session, you're going to need a Sharpie or a black permanent marker.
Can I tell you the voice for it?
They just tend to work better for me. And you're also going to need some
So it's
watercolor
just
paint.
a
If you
trial.
don't have watercolor paint, you can use markers, crayons, pencil
Yes.
crayons, anything for the coloring part of the piece. So what you're going to do is you're going to start by just drawing a bunch of squiggly lines. Make sure your lines overlap each other. You want them to cross each other. You want to just do a bunch of squiggly lines. You can
And just simple instructions on how to do stuff and what it is that she's doing. And, I think that this is amazing. There's so many different art forms, art mediums. There's different things that you can use. There's different pencils and colors and acrylics and all sorts of really fun and engaging things that you can use. So anything that you do, folks, that could fall into this category of being considered art, and trust me, the definition is extremely broad. Cameron says Caymanians are so full of talent, not only arts, but trade skills and intellect. I'm looking forward to CMR-TV highlighting all of the unsung, talented Caymanians. And so there are people who make furniture. I think that that's an art form as well. They're making very unique and different pieces. So we have a little fast forward segment here. So here she is now showing us, after a little while, where she's gotten with this design. Look at this.
You're satisfied that you've found all the pointy bits and rounded them off. You can grab your watercolor paint.
Kids are going to love the show.
Start filling in the bubbles.
Just a test.
So I started off here
but
with
still,
a pink
I promise
color,
you, video quality.
and then I just move into some purple, and I continue on until all the bubbles are filled in. So here I go with
this
my
is going
pink,
to air on Saturday.
and
Kids
I
are home.
saturate the pink.
You're looking for something for them to do. Elizabeth's show will be on, and you can, know that there's something good, wholesome TV that they can sit in front of and learn how to do a little activity and have some real fun with it. So this is fantastic. Miss Nicole says, good morning. Donna for thatch pieces. She knows how to thatch. We even have Mr. Rankin from East End, Mr. Isaac's father. He does thatching. I don't know if you guys saw that episode of Cayman Voices where he was trying to show me. Now, I've never thatched in my life. And I can tell you, you need good little fingers, Chad, because it's not as easy as it looks. It is hard. He was trying to get me to do one more simple plats, and I was like, this ain't easy. Magdalene says, Marcelina Anglin for that. Chelsea, loving the voice. The voice is smooth. And I think when you're watching something like that, having someone who's nice and calm and voice, it helps. It really gets you in the mood to be, to be coloring or doing. So that is absolutely fantastic. So we're going to give away a prize here this morning. Give me 1 second, Elizabeth. Can you, let's do a commercial break. Let's do a quick commercial break. I'm going to go and find the prize because I want it in my hand. And then I'm going to bring it back. Sorry.
I have the question that you can ask for the giveaway.
Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me go grab it. Hold on.
Okay.
I am Richard Hugh, President and CEO of CUC. Our focus has always been on you, our customers. Times are changing, and so are your expectations. We are listening to our employees and the people of the Cayman Islands to find new opportunities that can improve your experience. We are working every day to provide you with a safe and reliable electricity service. You are at the core of everything that we do. We are exploring and adopting new technologies and sources of energy which will benefit you as we become more reliable and more efficient, which will mean lower energy costs. We are working to improve our energy management tools, offer new products and services, and provide 24/7 customer support. Our new vision, empowering Cayman to be a global leader, is building momentum towards a better future for our islands.
Ocean Ridge Heights offers an amazing opportunity to own a piece of land in idyllic Cayman Brac, right on the bluff, starting from $80,000. Located in a quiet residential area with high elevation, these lots are ideal for a future home or investment property and are sure to go fast. Cayman Brac offers a laid-back lifestyle, amazing pristine diving, limestone caves, diverse flora, along with amazing wildlife. Inquire about the owner financing options so that you can secure your piece of paradise today. With only a few lots remaining, these are sure to go before you know it. Contact Crichton Properties today on 345-949-5250 or info@crichtonproperties.com.
All right, I'm waiting to actually find the kits. Give me 1 second here. I put them away just the other day. I think they're in one of my storage areas, but oh Lord, there's so many places to store stuff these days. Miss Stacy's helping me trying to find it. Okay, so let me see. What is the question, Elizabeth, that you had in mind? Why am I not seeing you? Oh, you somehow popped out. Hi.
Okay. I was saying just search for a picture of the product that you're going to give away online and pop that up.
But I'm going to do that, but I want people to actually see it as well. We're going to find it here in just a second. But yes, what's the question?
So what is the name of my show?
That was the same question I was going to do. Nice and easy if you've been listening. What is the name of Elizabeth's show? What is the name, folks, of her show? 936-2626. You got to call in. 936-2626. Cameron says, can't just click your fingers to do thatch work, you know. Damien says there's also a lady in Cayman Brac who does excellent thatch work and embroidery. Trying to remember her name now. You should reach out to my aunt as well. She can probably do a show on like quilting, like putting in a patch, or she does quilting, sewing, all sorts of needlework. So Cameron says Sandy's brownies must be a work of art too. Because they be having people all in their feelings. So if you're paying attention this morning, you're going to win an amazing prize. At 936-2626 is the telephone number. Give us a call if you think you know the answer. Poor Miss Stacy. She's like, girl, I am not finding this. All right, let me think where I put it the other day. All right, keep talking, Elizabeth. I'm going to go and look for it because I probably need to find it. She probably has no idea where I put it. But you keep talking, and I'm going to come right back.
All right.
So, yes, talk about whatever. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So one of the visions, like I said, for my show is to just basically highlight that art doesn't have to be intimidating, and there's no wrong way to do art. You can sit down with a Sharpie. Like I'm gonna do a piece. I'm gonna show you guys how to do a piece of artwork that it actually looks like something you could sell with just a Sharpie, just a black permanent marker and a piece of paper. So, oh, we have a caller, but I don't think call right now because she's not in the studio. In like 2 minutes. 2 minutes to take the call. Sorry, guys. While we wait, I just wanted to put out a call to all local artists. If you are residing in the Cayman Islands, please reach out to Sandy and get my contact information. And please contact me. I would love to highlight you on my show. Don't worry, even if things take off and the show becomes a big hit, I won't be charging local artists to come on the show. That's something I want to do for free. I want to highlight local artists and give them a platform to say, because myself, like I'm interested in the art world. I know a few local artists, but take for instance, I may not know where I can purchase their art or if they do commissions. So I just want to allow for that space where they can come on and say, hey, you can purchase my artwork here. Here are my socials. I'm available for to do special pieces for you, etc. So I want to really give that platform to local artists for them to come on and just showcase talent, a little interview. She still can't take the call. She hasn't come back yet. Sorry, guys. She's looking surprised to take your call.
All right, I am back. I found it.
Calling to
I had to look in a couple different spots. I'm so sorry. And of course, I'm not moving as fast because of my knee. All right, caller, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Do you think you know the answer this morning?
I'm going to guess, and forgive me if I'm wrong. Is it
Okay.
called art?
Say that again.
All things art?
No. Good guess, though. I mean, that's a pretty good name. But no, that's not it.
Thanks.
All right, my dear, 936-2626. I'm going to show you guys now what the prize is. Forgive me for having to use my back scratcher, but when you got an itch, honey child, you got to scratch it. Okay, so the prize today is going to be this beautiful 72 pencil set, premium soft colors. This is colored pencils. And I must tell you that this is so gorgeous. It comes in this amazing pouch, and you get practically every color of the rainbow. It's amazing to think.
It also comes with some sketch pads, some mini sketch pads.
And this one?
Yep.
Oh, look at that. Let me see if I can.
It's confirm, but
yeah, I'm gonna open up the plastic here a little bit, and then carefully put that back in. But yeah, this is non-toxic colors, of course, and absolutely beautiful. And you get a proper carrying case with it, so you can store all of your pencils in here. And it comes with a tester sheet. Oh, some other stuff in here. So you got some paperwork with it, but then look at the array of colors that are included. It's absolutely beautiful. Every color almost of the rainbow. You'd be surprised how many shades of green and blues and grays that actually exist. So this is a 72 set color pencils, and it's by Castle Arts. They make really great products. Look at all the yellows and things in the brown family. And all you have to do is give us the correct answer to the question. And the question is, they actually have your tester sheet here with like all of your palette, so you can actually test the colors. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's a little bit hard because it's in white, but you can actually test the colors, and you can, color in each box to see exactly what the colors look like on a piece of paper. So this is really cool. Question again is, what is the name? What is the name, folks, of Elizabeth's show? If you were half paying attention this morning, it shouldn't be that difficult. But what is the name of her show? Okay, so jump on, and they have a little booklet here about taking your art to the next level. They tell you about how to do layering. Oh, this is pretty cool. Basic strokes, how to master your strokes, how do you put pressure, do light form, all these really, really amazing tips. Different types of paper and different types of material that you can actually use these pencils on. So you can do everything from illustration boards, parchment paper, cellophane, cardboard, colored cards, corrugated cards, foam boards, newspaper, scrap paper, sandpaper, and then they tell you different ways of actually holding your pencil as well. So who knew there was something called a dynamic tripod, lateral tripod, lateral quadrupod, paintbrush. Wow, you got to be teaching us some of these terms and stuff, Elizabeth, and what they all mean. Well, even how to properly sharpen your pencil. All these notes are in this little book. This is fantastic.
I'm really hoping for some experts to come on the show. I would love to have someone who specializes in acrylic paint, someone who does oil paint, someone who does watercolor paint, someone who draws. I would love to have, because the things that I do, trust me, I love art, and I love the simple forms of art. But all those technical terms, I would love to have some quote unquote experts come on the show to explain those things to us. So if you're listening, Guys, reach out, please. I'd love to have you on my show.
Yeah. And here's the thing, folks, at the end of the day, as always, we would love for Caymanians to collaborate with each other to get this stuff done. But, if there are not any Caymanian artists out there who want to participate and we start bringing other people on, don't get vexed with us. We're bringing on, who's willing to talk and show and share and, spread the love. So with the platforms that we have available to us now, we can interview artists from all over the world. But let's start here in Cayman first. So if you're an artist, you're a Caymanian artist, by all means, don't be shy. Step forward. We're begging you, but there's only so much begging we can do before we're going to move on.
It's a perfect opportunity for you to showcase your work. Like I said, it's free of charge to local artists. That was your business. Take, for example, Art Nest. That is a business, and that's a little bit different. If you get in early as a business, they get some free spaces. But definitely, local artists will always be come on the show for free. It is a perfect opportunity for you to, let people know where they can purchase your art, give them your socials. If you do special commission pieces, it's a good opportunity because, like I said, I know quite a few local artists, and I've seen their work on social media. I've seen it, during art week and stuff like that. But to say, well, how can I reach out to this person? How can I purchase their art? How can I ask them to do a special commission piece for me? I would love to give local artists that opportunity to let people know where to find them, and then maybe, show us a little bit of how they do their work.
Yes, absolutely. So Cameron, always bringing the humor to the program, says this proves we can only hear, but we never listen. Sandra, you're dealing with hard heads on CMR,
Just go and rewind the show, guys. I said the name.
Oh, Cameron, you keep us laughing. Oh my God, that is so funny. 9362626. Let's see if we've got a winner. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Hi, morning. It's the Art Beat.
Yes! Woo!
Yes. I was actually just waiting to see if someone else would call in to get it. But I don't think that they were paying attention. So I would like to gift it actually to the next caller.
Oh, thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that. That's amazing. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Sandra.
Not bad. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
So guess what just happened? Tell me what you think the answer is first, then I'm going to tell you what just happened.
Okay, so I think the answer is Art Beat.
Yes, well, you got it right. But even if you had gotten it wrong, the previous caller got it right, but she wanted to pay it forward and gift it to the next caller. So isn't that amazing? So congratulations. You have won this beautiful set of 72 soft touch colored pencils. It really is a lovely set. Trust me. Every time I take mine out, Gigi tries to steal mine from me. And next thing I know, I see her coloring with my colored pencils.
Thank you very much, Sandra.
You are welcome. So please just WhatsApp me your name, how I can get this present to you. And do you color at all? I mean, are you a coloring person, or are you going to give it to like a child, or what are you going to do with it?
Okay, so I do have a passion towards art, but it's never like I really, goes towards. But my daughter, she loves art. Today is actually a career day at Etna Primary School, and her costume was artist. So I can forward it to you as well, the picture of her for today.
Oh, that's fantastic. Absolutely. We'll post our little artist up. Well, congratulations. And I know she's going to love and enjoy this.
Definitely, she will.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, my dear. Thanks. Yeah, that is so wonderful. Oh, she went as an artist today. That sounds like fun.
I would highlight some of aspiring artists on my show as well, like teenagers. Listen, I visited my daughter's school, John Gray, and for her reporting session. And as I walked past the art room, They had a bunch of the artwork displayed outside, and I was blown away at the talent that some of these kids have. If you're a parent and you know that your child is very artistic, I would love to have them on my show. I would love to feature them on my show. Please reach out, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and give my phone number.
Yeah. Well, don't give your personal number because you've got a CMR mobile number. Give that number. So let me tell people what that one is, because child, we don't want any untowards. People be trying to call Elizabeth now. This is a business call.
My personal number is up there anyways for my other business.
Okay. Well, all right then.
Let's plug here, Errand Solutions. Give me a call if you need some errands done.
Yeah, she's an entrepreneur. So Hermes Hines, give us the number then.
So it's 1345, because overseas will take you as well. 1345-917-2502. That's 917-2502. The best way to contact me is WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I'm the best at answering calls. Sometimes, like right now, my kids are home. I'm gonna be paying attention to them when I come off of this. But I respond to your WhatsApp messages eventually
at some point. So contact Elizabeth if you're an artist. If you want to, feature your artwork, even if you want to sponsor the show, because she's also looking for show sponsors. So if you're interested in sponsoring a show, you can do that as well. If you own a show that has art materials that you can do a trade, or she'll do a shout out to your show, and then you provide her with art material. There's so much synergy that can happen here for a program like this. So if you're an artist, especially Caymanian and local artists, please reach out, because Cameron said some of these arts and crafts would be good for seniors to get together. It keeps their minds sharp and coordination. So, yes, absolutely. Reach out to Elizabeth, folks. We would love to have her show be a top hit, that is my vision for every single program, because I think there's something for everyone. So Elizabeth did mention that she's home. It's summertime, honey child. The kids are home.
Now they're baking a lot of
and like, Mom, we need some breakfast. I smell Miss Stacy cooking something. So we're going to let you go. We're not going to take up any more time this morning. But again, thank you so much, Elizabeth, for the art beat. And it's going to be featured on Saturdays. I'm going to get you the exact time, but it's going to be featured on Saturday mornings. Again, another really fun show for your kids to be able to tune into. Thank you, honey child.
All right. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too. All right, folks, come on in. Whoever's knocking at my door, come on in. All right, folks. So we are going to breakfast, honey child. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, you guys know what time it is. It's nice breadfruit time. Listen, breadfruit is seasonal. We don't get it all the time. So when we get it, we're going to enjoy it. So Island Pearl says, would Miss Elizabeth be willing or interested in interviewing, showcasing art for persons that are incarcerated, male and female? I guess. We got artists in prison too. They're a little bit more difficult because I think the prison has to approve it, and you guys know them already. But yes, I think she's open to it. If they're using art as therapy, even in prison, God knows you might need it more than others. By all means, reach out. And she'd be happy to do that. And I'll send this message to the, is he still acting director of prisons, or has he been appointed? I don't even know what's going on over there anymore. And we can certainly inquire about this. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. So yes, amazing. Okay. Let me see here. What else we got? Honey chill. But no, I think Island Pearl, that's actually a pretty good idea. All right. For the remainder of the show, Cameron says we need to teach them about cybersecurity too. For the remainder of the show, we had a tech guy, but there's some moving parts to the scheduling and individuals. So we'll see how that goes. They have some amazing artists in there, and maybe one of them is Philip Ebanks. Philip Ebanks. Okay. All right. Well, yes. I mean, I don't know what's he in prison for. I mean, that might make a difference in terms of what access privileges he might have. So the prison will ultimately decide what to approve. But yeah, okay. So let me see what else we got here. Oh, this is interesting. Child, there's always something that is interesting and different and new in the world of content creation. And I'm always looking at the tech gear and checking things out. There was something else I want to talk to Elizabeth about, but we'll bring these guys back on, as their shows get started and get going, and we can talk a little bit more about it. But there was actually something that I was going to ask her about the process, because some of you are reaching out to me and you're saying that you want to do a show, and I'm all on board for it, but you think that I'm going to be doing this show for you. And so we need to give you a little bit of a reality check in terms of exactly what is expected of you and how it's going to work. Auntie ain't doing it for you. That's not how it's going to work. I can help with certain things, but I ain't doing it for you. Now, let's check out Carla. When is Carla coming on the show? I need to find out when she's coming on, honey child. Let me see here now. But we're going to show you Carla's. Oh, he's a murderer? Oh, damn. He's been doing art from the 90s. Drawings and paintings are great. Oh, wow. Well, that would be quite an interesting interview. Elizabeth's a little bit timid, though. I don't know if she want to go talk to a murderer, a convict murderer. I'll ask her. But I would be willing to go talk to him on her behalf. All right, let's have this one, and then we're going to get into politics. Lucky Body, I see your comment coming right up.
Hey, I'm Carla, and welcome to my brand new show on CMR TV. It's called Fit and Fierce with Carla. I would love for you to join me every week. At the same time, we're going to be getting into different types of exercises that you're going to love. I mean, I love to help people. I love to get people nice and fit and strong and healthy. So you have to add your diet to this, okay? So today we're going to work out with dumbbells, which you can purchase at any of your local stores. Supermarkets too even have dumbbells now. Can you imagine that? And if you don't have dumbbells, just use anything you have in the house that weighs probably about 2-3 pounds, 5 pounds, 2 tins, 2 bottles of water. We're going to be using the arms, we're going to work the upper body, we're going to work the lower body. So just get them and come on and join me. Apart from that, I would love for you to start eating properly. So add vegetables, add fruits to your meals. Stop just having processed foods. There's too many processed foods out there, and I don't think you just want to have processed foods. I love for you to have some healthy, nutritious foods, lunch, dinner, breakfast, okay? So here we are. We're going to start with our very first workout. So please join me and let's get going. Okay, so here we are. We're going to do our first part of the segment, which is a warm-up. Always want to warm up before you do any form of exercise, okay? So we're going to do feet shoulder width apart. You're just going to reach over just to warm up the upper body. As far as you can go. If you can go all the way over, that's even better. If you can only go halfway, that's fine. You want to do at least 20 of these side stretches, 10 on each side. And then next thing, you're going to twist side to side. You want to keep the core nice and tight, elbows up, keep your head straight. Don't even want to twist head side to side or you're going to get dizzy, right? So just keep your head straight. and just keep twisting. Beautiful. Just like that. Beautiful. Next thing, you're going to go down as far as you can go and then overhead stretch. So you're warming up your lower back and your core as well as your arms and your shoulders.
All right, folks. So just a little snippet there. My apologies. Just a little snippet there of what you can expect from another one of our content creators. So quick commercial. Oh, I'm so sorry. All this time I'm talking, you guys couldn't hear me.
Yeah,
Hi.
muted.
Okay. My apologies.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Child, I was having a whole conversation over here. My apologies. Are we still on radio? Yikes. Yes. All right. So, I was saying that there's tons of gynecological services that are available at Health City. The NICU has been extremely busy. And of course, the clip that you just heard there was Dr. Troy. And Dr. Troy is visiting for July the 4th. And he is a specialist in all of the cancers. Mute the background music there. All of the different types of oncology, gynecological oncology, ovarian, cervical, uterine cancer, endometrial, and of course, if you have any issues, menstrual disorders, infertility, pelvic pain, endometriosis, and more, he is the guy to speak with. I was also saying that although he's visiting for July the 4th, they do have the women's health portion of Health City, Cayman Bay, is back up and running and fully staffed with professionals. And the maternity ward has been extremely busy because only 2 NICU units on the island, and the one there is so nice. A lot of mothers have been swapping over to their NICU services. So, yes. Oh my gosh. All right. Let me see here. So I'm seeing your comments. Let's talk politics for the next 15 minutes or so. We're going to, we are going to jump into that. I see someone sending me a WhatsApp message. I'll check the messages after the show. Thank you so much. And big shout out to Carla as well. Carla will come on probably next week, maybe Monday, and showcase what she is going to be doing. So let me just see here now. All right. So folks, yes, good stuff. Gabby, I saw your comment. Lucky Body says, why was Kenneth so pressed in Parliament yesterday? I had to turn down my volume due to all the shouting. Oh my God, Kenneth. Listen, you've already alienated yourself from a lot of people by getting back in bed with the people who don't even like you. And the streets are saying, you had to buy your way back into the brotherhood of the progressives. And it wasn't really worth it. $200,000, $50,000, even $1,000. Trust me when I tell you, it was not worth it. So you've already lost a lot of supporters for that and other reasons. The way that you're carrying on in Parliament, I have not seen it with my own two eyes. I've not watched Parliament. We've got news coverage on it because we have other team members watching it and paying attention. But based on what I have heard, honey child, you need to simmer it down. It's not a good look. I'm hearing that you sound like you're crazy. And Lord Jesus, it ain't a good look for you, Bobo. What's going on? Why? Oh my God. You're pressing and you're allowing yourself to be pressed a little too much. And I think what's happening here is you're in your feelings because you didn't get back in to Parliament. And so you're like, not to Parliament, my apologies, into cabinet as a minister. And you feel like the way that you're going to get attention and get waves is to be a pain in everybody's backside. And I can tell you that that's not going to bode well for you. Number one, the truth of the matter is, there's certain people that you can't take on. I know you believe you can take on Ralston Anglin. Ralston is a professional in his own right, a CPA, so you guys can tell him all you want about the government has a surplus. And when he starts crunching the numbers, he can see in a real hurry that is not the case. So work with me here, Kenneth. Let me tell you that I'm trying to give you some good salient advice. If you would ever care to listen, which I know your head a little bit hard, take it from one Georgetowner to the next. What you are currently doing is not going to benefit you in the long run. You will continue to undermine your own support base. I mean, I have heard even up to yesterday. Let me show y'all one of the comments. And this was some little old lady all the way in East End messaging me about Kenneth yesterday. Let me show y'all some of the comments here. You're not doing yourself any favors. I mean, people are just like, what? No, sir. This is what I was getting at 4:47, and all I could do was shake my head because there's only so much advice I can give these MPs. And if they don't want to listen, next election, when they get voted out, then they can really be crying. If you think you're crying now because you're not a minister, you didn't get tourism or whatever, imagine if you have no job. You better start working on plan B is what I'm going to be honest and tell you, because the way in which you're demonstrating your lack of maturity in the House of Parliament is not impressing anyone. The people not interested in the foolishness. So this person, senior from East End, said, why doesn't Kenneth Bryan not go sit down? It's a disgrace the way he's behaving in the assembly. Does he believe that politics are over? Hip, hip, hooray. What a stall Kenneth Bryan got. So like I said, I haven't been listening to the segment, so I didn't know exactly what it was. And I haven't yet listened to it, but you're not impressing a soul. I don't know, between you and Chris Saunders, I don't know who's worse. We don't really have no expectations of Chris Saunders, I'm gonna tell you the truth. So keep that in mind. We know he's a troll. and then some. So we're not really paying him no mind. But what I would say to you, Kenneth, is, honey child, you're doing yourself a tremendous disservice by carrying on in this way. Nobody's impressed. Nobody. My God. I'm going to see if I can, actually, let me see. We might have downloaded it already. Let me check our work area or workspace and see. Renee did a story on this. So let me see if she's already down. Oh, yeah, she's downloaded some of these. Okay. So we have, yesterday was 3 hours and 15 minutes. So I have the transcripts here. Let me see what I can pull out of the transcripts and then work with this. My God, Kenneth. So one of the things he was putting forward is apparently he was in support of an annual year-round, what are the street workers called again? Oh, Lord. What's the program called? Somebody help me out here. The Road Works Crew, right? So he was putting forward a motion to have them work year-round. And I think this is one of the most fantastical, the NICE program. Thank you so much, Rosine. This is one of the most fantastical, horrible ideas I've ever heard. I mean, this is not a good idea. To implement a year-round NICE program, okay, let us break it down and talk about it, right? Because I saw somebody said, well, if y'all would raise the minimum wage, we wouldn't need the NICE program. If you raise it to $10 an hour, we wouldn't. Oh, okay. The average person who is in the NICE program is who exactly? I'm not trying to make our Caymanians look bad, God knows, because we have people listening from all over the world. But I have to be honest. There are people who are unemployable, really, to do anything else. Then the next question begs, why are they unemployable? Most of them are unemployable because they have no skills. And I guess it doesn't really take a talented person to clean up a side street. They have skills, but bad attitude, no attitude for that's appropriate for a workplace. They don't want to listen. They don't want to work. Some are off and on of drugs and alcohol, and they have addictions. And some simply don't want to work. So the NICE program, they work for a couple of weeks a year, get some Christmas money, they spend that right away, and then they sit down and do nothing until the next NICE program comes around. So the question is, what are we addressing? How many people are we talking about here that would be part of this routine crew? And we are creating, remember now, government is the biggest, the largest employer in the Cayman Islands. Government's job or their role, their function shouldn't be just to create jobs because nobody else wants to hire these people or that they don't even really want to work, because then you're going to have issues where the government budget, which, by the way, go back to that report from the Auditor General's office. Where is government spending most of its money? Where's the burden? On payroll. On all of the payroll and the benefits. So now you're saying, oh, let's burden the country even more with additional expenses for a whole new program like they have in Cayman Brac, just because we want to say that we can put our people to work all the time. Look at how beautifully it's working in Cayman Brac. Now I am being facetious. Not only does it not work in Cayman Brac, right? I've been over there and I'm looking around going, they have a NICE program, but I'm still seeing the place looking a little bit disheveled. And everybody in the BRAC knows that the people working the NICE program, some of them are the biggest drug runners in Cayman Brac because they're going all over the place. So when the police stop them on the road, they don't tell them, oh, I'm delivering drugs to so-and-so up the street. They're like, oh no, government is paying me to clean up the street. So they're like the network of people who are moving the drugs around Cayman Brac. Come on now. That is not a solution to any sort of unemployment program. It's not a solution for the people who refuse to work in this country. We're creating social programs in this country to try and gain votes. That's what this is really all about. I wish Kenneth would call me this morning because I want to tell him a thing or two about vote buying and creating social programs that is not going to be beneficial to the people of the Cayman Islands. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy.
How you doing, honey chill?
I am doing great. This is your mango man.
Oh, yes. Boy, those mangoes were good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Listen, you got a topic that is top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to shed some light on this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Remember the NICE program was started by, PPM.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. And it continues 2 times for the year. So
Mm-hmm.
you would normally have 2 weeks before Christmas and 2 weeks after Christmas in January. I am a retired accountant. I have been one of the supervisors in the NICE program from when it started.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. And I can tell you, the caliber of most of the people that apply for the NICE program are persons who are, you can deem, unemployable. They don't have skills, no social skills. They don't have etiquette. They don't have time management. Simple, you tell them to be to work at 7 o'clock. They want to stroll in at 7:45. I, as a supervisor, I say, hey, go back home. You're supposed to be here by a certain time. Everybody's working. You can't be coming late. Then they want to come, some of them may want to come at 10 o'clock just to order lunch. And when they get the lunch, they disappear. But all I do, I strike their name off. So when it comes time to pay, you're not going to get your full pay. You didn't work. And this is the kind of thing that has been happening over and over and over. I had to really get personally mad with some of them because some of the guys and the girls too, they want to come on the job when they're working and they want to be smoking marijuana and they just disappear to go down in the bush. And I said, no, that can't happen. You come to work, you got to be working. But yeah, then they want to complain about that I'm too hard and I'm too strict and I don't like your mind. I said, no, you all have an obligation. You ask for work. You're getting $10 an hour. You're getting a free meal and you're getting unlimited water.
Yeah.
You work from 7 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. And most of the time, they don't even go up. We don't go up till 3. Because most of the time, when we get lunch and after lunch is finished, we disperse and we go home. So sometimes we going home like before 2 o'clock. But yet, they still want to come and work 1 hour and sit down for 5 and expect to get paid.
Yeah.
Now, what rubbed me the wrong way yesterday, Sandy, was, and I know this for a fact, I heard Kenneth saying that $800,000 is budgeted for the NICE program, and I know that's not true. $1 million has been budgeted consecutively for the NICE program. So if you were saying $800,000 yesterday, what happened to the other $200,000?
Yeah.
Where did that go? Or where has that been going all along?
Yeah.
Check
And
that out.
if it goes full time, because I didn't watch it, but if it goes full time, is that the 800,000 he's talking about, or does it increase?
Well, it would have to increase.
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. Millions of dollars for people who don't even want to show up to work.
Exactly. Figures don't lie, no matter how much you want to shuffle them around. Right? A 2 is always a 2. And just depends on where you put it. But a 2 can be a lesser figure if you put a decimal in front of it. Because if you put 1 decimal 2, the 1 is greater than the 2. Come on, it's simple mathematics. But you can't get that through to some of these persons' thick skulls.
Yeah.
They expect that they must sit down on the job, smoke,
get
paid, and then don't do any work. It cannot work that way.
And we've seen them. We've seen them on the roadside smoking. And when we call them out, some of our very own people defending the foolishness about, oh yeah, well, at least they're out there sitting down on this roadside smoking and we're paying them $10 an hour. It's no wonder that government is hemorrhaging money and being a complete failure. What else would we expect?
I don't care if they don't like me. When I'm given a job to do, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability.
Yes.
And who don't like it, well, then okay, then.
Yep. Thank you so much, caller. I
don't hire me
appreciate
as
it.
a supervisor.
Yeah,
Okay.
I appreciate it. 936-2626. I'm going to go into a little bit of overtime this morning because I want to give this topic some adequate coverage. But yeah, to me, this is ridiculous. Here's what this person says. They can't even work 2 weeks straight without being late or absent. When you pass, you see them sitting on the roadside walls or sidewalks on phones, smoking or staring into the sky. And don't think they're not still collecting NAU money when they're collecting nice pay as well. We have got to stop cuddling our people to be lazy, entitled, and just downright non-productive members of society. The rest of us who are productive members who are out here hustling in these streets are sick and tired of having to pay for those of you who don't want to do, thank God it's 9:29, we can connect from the radio. Those of you who don't want to do jack shit. I'm sorry, but I don't have no sympathy for lazy people. I don't have no sympathy for people who can't show up to work on time, who don't want to do their jobs. $10 an hour is still plenty money. And like this person rightfully says, they're NAU clients. They are hemorrhaging money, but they're looking for freeness. You think those people who can't even be present and on time for 2 weeks, you make this a full-time program that they're going to be able to show up every single day for full-time work? That is not what these people are even looking for. This is a way to buy votes, to make it look like you care about these people of these islands, when in truth, you just into this poor people mentality, this Garrison-style politics. And I, for one, I'm sick and tired of it. That would do them people in West Bay West now. That's why McKeever was there for 40 years doing jack shit because of handouts. This is another way of handouts, except our poor people. Listen, the politicians are so stupid that now what they do, they're not giving handouts out of their own pocket no more. They're going to do handouts by pushing through programs like this through government. So the government coffers are the ones doing the handouts. And that means me, you, and everybody else being productive in this country are the ones who are paying for it. As Mr. Amelia would say, it is hurtful to hear this level of stupidity being put forward in Parliament. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. I'm totally in agreement with the everybody know who I am. And I don't have to mention my name. I'm totally in agreement with the last caller.
Mm-hmm.
How do these people? I'm all for Caymanians. There's not another Caymanian. It's more for Caymanians. But when you find these programs coming in where they're paying them $10 an hour, you got 10 people on each side of the road. 6 is sitting down and 4 is working. What happened to the supervisor? Until they put organize that properly with good supervision and tell these people, listen, if you want to work, we will give you whatever, but don't start sitting down on the job. Don't show up on the job. I see these guys, they're supposed to be working for a whole day, and by 10 o'clock, they're packed and they got their bicycle and they're gone through Mount Pleasant, Bush Hill Road. It is so sad. If you can help these people to work all the time, but how can you help them when they're not helping themselves? And they want people to feel sorry for them. I don't feel sorry for anyone. They're given an opportunity to make $10. That's top dollars.
Yeah, somebody say that's too much money for them. Because God knows they're not doing that.
I mean, there's a cost of living. Every day, the cost of living is going up. But the thing about it is that it would be better for government to say, listen, guys, we're going to give you $9 an hour and
how
keep you
about
on.
we give them some skills so that they can get a job in private
give
sector?
them some skills.
That's what we need to do with these people. Give them the skills to go in private sector and get a damn job. Government is not meant to just create jobs, right?
No.
The more we talk about AI taking over and all this kind of stuff, the day that government decides to streamline because we can't afford it, because of the deficits and this and that, we're going to have a real problem in this country.
Sandy, it really bothers me when, that's why, like you said, Kiva has been in for the last 45 years, because he know how to push the system, and they can go to his house and get money whenever they feel like getting it. I've heard these guys say, "Oh, I can go buy McKeever's and he's going to give me a $25 or a $50." It is really sad. I'm all for giving Caymanians a full day's work, but they have to prove to me or prove to the government or whoever that they want to work. They're smoking their weed, they're smoking their cigarettes, they're sitting down doing nothing. And the amount of times I make it my business to go and drive past these, and you see them. They don't even pick up half of the garbage on the street, like paper, cardboard, and styrofoam and stuff, because they don't want to go into the trees. Give them a machete and make them go in there. But first of all, you have to have good supervisors that will not back down from them if they tell you, "I'm not doing it," get out of here and go home. But anyway,
Thank you, my dear.
We have come a long way, but I tell you what, we're going backward.
That's right. And we're going to go backwards as long as, thank you, Mr. Dexter. We're going to go backwards as long as we keep hiring politicians who have this mentality of friggin' handouts. We don't need a handout in this country. We need a helping hand. There are times that you need a hand up, pull somebody up, but they have to be motivated. We're hemorrhaging money with NAU already. Get people off of NAU. Kenneth, stop pushing this mentality that Caymanians can't do no better. So therefore, government must create positions for them to the tune of millions of dollars to sit down all day smoking weed and being non-productive. That's why y'all was pushing so much for this decriminalization of this weed thing, because these fools believe now that they can go on somebody's work site and say, well, they've decriminalized marijuana, so I can sit here and smoke it. No, you can't. Nobody not gonna hire you if all you want to do all day is sit down and smoke weed. That whole referendum sent the wrong message, especially to young people who that's all they want to do anyway. You're undesirable. You're not hireable when you want to just sit down and smoke marijuana all day. Nobody not gonna hire you to drive heavy equipment. No one is gonna hire you to deal with customers if you all stinking of marijuana smoke and high as a kite. Start telling our people the truth. This is a world that every single day is getting more automated. AI taking over, educated people taking over, hardworking people taking over, and they will take our jobs easily. And as they say, dog will eat your supper. These are the messages that these MPs should be getting out there and having with their people. And Kenneth, of all people, who we as Caymanians, as a fellow Georgetowner, said, all right, despite all of your personal trials and tribulations, the drug convictions and all this stuff, right? Maybe you are an example of someone that can demonstrate, yes, I did those things. I made those mistakes. I went to jail. I accept it. That is part of my life story. But here I am now. I'm dedicated. I'm willing to work hard. I'm willing to do all of the right things. Instead, you sit down yourself as a parliamentarian trying to be entitled. And I am sick and tired of the entitlement, even from you as a representative of the people. Nobody owes you anything. Huh? You're not guaranteed a ministerial role. Stop calling Jay every single day. Stop calling Peanut every single day about you're the tourism expert. You can help him. You need a job as his assistant. Knock off the foolishness. Get out there and talk to some of these young people and all the nooks and crannies, Dog City, Scranton, Washington Boulevard, South Sound. I don't care where the hell they are and what families they come from. You need to reach them with proper messaging. And the message should be that look at me as an example, Kenneth Bryan. I have done this and this, but now I'm a better person. But if you not know better yourself, because you sitting there in Parliament acting the fool and being salty because your people didn't get to control the government, we got a problem, Houston. Good morning, caller. Hello? Caller, I can't hear you, honey child. Are you there?
Good morning, good morning, honey child.
I was wondering where you had gone.
Kaboom for that caller. Oh, hallelujah. Send some kabooms for that caller, my sister. She is on point and she's 100% correct with everything she is saying.
Which caller?
She is awesome. And the people of the Cayman Islands need to take heed and adhere to what she is saying. Number one, you can't go anywhere and get a job, linger, do whatever you feel
not
like.
Not in the real world. We're creating this alternative reality for Caymanians.
Drive around checking other sites and expect to get paid. And that's what has been happening in the NICE project. That has been happening for years. I personally had Kenneth Bryan stood in my face and said to me, Romelia, don't work the people too hard. It's a gift we're giving them. So they can have food on their table and they can have gifts for their children.
Yeah. This
Kenneth Bryan stood me in my face and I said, Kenneth, this is the people's money. And if it's coming out of your pocket, we can do it as a gift.
Lord
if
Jesus.
it is coming out of your pocket, we can do it as a gift. But it's the people's money. Stop breaking our people bad. How about telling your people in your constituency to do the work they are hired to do? He wants me to stop from making the people work so hard.
Wow.
But yet pay them make sure they get a pay at the end of the day.
My God.
You hear what I said? Kenneth Bryan is the problem here. He is the problem. And the lady said he used to. It is my understanding he's still on it. So what I would like to know, why is it anyone running for politics should have a drug test taking before they go in there? You understand? I am sorry. I have a passion about my island. I have a passion to see my island clean. I have a passion to see my people treated fairly. But I do not condole with wrongdoings. I don't care whether Caymanians or any other nationality. You cannot do wrong and get right. You understand? And you, child, as you know, they went as far as to pay me a check. And I didn't work just for me not to be in a nice program anymore.
I saw the check with my own two eyes. Mr. Amelia was honest
I was
enough to
paid
contact them.
off.
That's right.
I was paid off and I did not work for that check.
That's right.
You hear what I'm telling you?
Talk about mismanagement.
And Kenneth Bryan.
Did they ever take the check back?
I wouldn't give it back. I wouldn't give it back. I have it right now on my table. I just sent a photo of it to Michael Miles. This is what, and I'm so sorry nobody never pinch me and tell me that this was what transpired in Parliament yesterday. Because remember, I want to be right in front row. I was going to be right there in front row looking Kenneth Bryan. He faced me with all of his antics. And he know that he is just squandering the people's money. Let the people work for it.
Send me the check on WhatsApp again, please.
Will do. Are you, child? I don't mind the NICE project. Once the work is getting done, they need people like myself.
It's not even being managed properly. It would be a whole other department to be able to get that right. And why?
Thank you.
Why? What we need to be doing is putting efforts into criminalizing people who are littering in our country and dealing with them. Increase that to $5,000 fine instead of $50, right? And tell people, stop throwing your garbage on the streets of Cayman. The nice program would have far less to do if y'all wouldn't throw your garbage out the car window, go and dump your garbage up the street on somebody else's property. How about that? How about cleaning up Cayman individually, keeping the place clean? That is what we should be focusing on. We should be focusing on long-term solutions. Instead, we're focusing on vote buying and trying to create programs for people that don't make no sense.
Exactly. Up the day before yesterday, I go in cross Wattlers Road. Saw two guys walking the street that working at that construction site across from elections office. One Indian man had a bottle, like a beer bottle in a bag. He walked in the bush and put it down. Honey, child, you know that didn't sit well with me. I hollered at him, pick it up. And garbage right in front of you. If everybody was to hold everybody accountable, Cayman would be clean and nice. But you see, they're importing these people from poor countries, third world countries, who fling garbage all over the place and don't care. So what they do? They got to come here and they go to...
Our own people doing it too. Our own people are doing it as well.
Exactly. You understand? But at the end of the day, they need to raise that littering fine to from 500 to 5,000.
Exactly.
From 500 to 5,000.
Absolutely.
And then you will see some action. I tried having a little conversation with Minister Catherine Emines Wednesday in Parliament, but we didn't have much time. So, and that was some of the things that I was going to bring to her. We need people who in positions who really cares about Cayman, who really want to see Cayman clean and really want to get work done in Cayman. You understand? Because who they got in positions right now isn't cutting it. They ain't cutting it. They need to put people with a passion like myself there to see to it that work gets done. But they're not looking for that because then it's too much friend and keep people happy. So voting time, they vote for them. It is a project to buy vote. That's what it is. Have a good morning.
All right, honey child. Thank you. Yes, folks. 9362626 is his telephone number. And I'm telling you guys straight up that this is an absolutely horrific suggestion. Pay poor people more to do nothing. This person says, good morning, angels. That's the government buying votes, making them lazy. Put them on skilled jobs and give them a little stipend. And government always about short of staff. Get some of them at NAU to go there and help, maybe with a pay. No, make them go without pay because then they'll find a real job. Damn lazy things with this bad attitude. Charity Islands. Remember Alden had said it on the BBC and they got it easy. They can go online and make money and own their own business. This is the true Kenneth coming out now. He was a fake and a fraud all along. Jesus help us, Lord Jehovah. I'm so incredibly disappointed. This is not what Caymanians are known for. Our seafaring history was not built on laziness. It was built on the backs of men who sacrificed a lot and demonstrated that they could be separated from their families. They could go in foreign countries where they didn't speak the language, they didn't know the people, and they worked hard by the sweat of their brow. Check what y'all talking about. Y'all are God-fearing Christians. Check what the Bible says about laziness. It is a sin. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. How you doing?
Not too bad, honey. How are you?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and by the sweat of your brow, you should earn your bread.
That's right.
Listen. Yeah, I think I gonna play the devil's advocate this morning, right? Because I've worked on the NICE program. And it none about it out there, foreign, Jamaican, Indian, Filipino, or whatever, could outwork me. I'm not a lazy person, but the NICE program helps people like me.
But you would be the exception and not the rule. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Listen to me. This is what I'm getting at, right? Just hear him out. Right? I'm an entrepreneur, right? I look job outside, right? In the construction industry. I got my little company, you know? I can't get into work, right? Because number one, the government not doing nothing for people like me to get work, for entrepreneurs. They're not setting the play field. I'm not telling them hold my hand and do step by step. even though this is the situation that Cayman has gotten to, because the labor market is so destroyed that entrepreneurs, small people like me, is out of work, right? So if anybody want to argue with me with that, they could argue, right? Okay, the night program comes along. I know, and you are customer, right? I go outside and interview and tell them, well, I can't get nobody. What they gonna do? Laugh me, get your ass out of here. You're a big hard ass man. Go look what. It's easy to say, right? It's easy to say, right? But that isn't the reality. That's just the things that people think, right? Okay, right? I don't want to beg nobody, first of all, either, right? So the nice program comes along. I go there and I do my work, right? I get paid. I make sure that I'm worth my salt, and I go there and I do my work, because all my life, from the age of 14, I've been working, right? Okay, there's other people out there too that pull their weight on the nice program. So on the era, the last three callers looking at the bigger points, they're looking at it in black and white. Look at it in colored. Not everybody is supposed to be painted with the same brush, and be not and who to say we can't get rid of the slackers. You got slackers everywhere. You got slackers in Parliament that not pulling the weight and still getting the pay, right? Okay. If this nice program becomes full time, get rid of the slackers. No, you can't come. You can't come if you don't come on time. If you can't smoke weed before you leave. You leave your yard in the morning or smoke weed on your own time, but come and do the government work, right? It can't be used as a stepping stone to go on to something better. You get on the nice program. They could all the government was saying, well, they were gonna look for the people that really work, really performing, and hire some of them. But that's what they gotta do. How you get the people that are serious, get rid of the slackers, the people that you see that is really interesting, that could really do the work, hire them, not come do the work. And if government won't hire them into other departments, to hire them into other departments and get rid of some of these foreigners what they got hired. This is what the government got to do. They don't want this program to come on 100 all year round, right? Okay, what are they doing? Especially this government that just got in that was claiming pro-Caymanians. What are they doing, especially in the first 100 days for anything for Caymanians?
Well, let me put it this way: they have already implemented several immigration policies and changes that the last government didn't do in 4 years. So, far as I'm concerned, they're doing a lot. They're off to a good start.
Listen, that is to me that is lone chat. That's what we're telling.
And not people. Chat if they've actually implemented, and not chat if the legislative changes are coming. If they've actually changed the law, that can't be chat. That is change.
I want to see the action actually out here on ground level, ground zero. This is where I want to see the action. You got plenty of people walking around here that not supposed to be here, that not gonna permit, they're not gonna work. And they still walking free, getting jobs, taking jobs from Caymanians, entrepreneurs like me. That's what the government got looking into. That's what they should be doing to help Caymanians get rid of some of them, and then open the labor market up so that Caymanians like me could get work. That's what they got to do instead of cutting off. In this situation, if something was good, like the nice program, instead of making that full time for some people. You see what I'm saying? Right. That is what they got to do. What they want you to do. What they want you to do, go beg and you don't get nothing, or just sit down and die and you call you lazy. Nobody not buying me, you know. You give me a little job. You give me a little job. That not buying me, you know. So don't make no mistake. Don't pin everybody with the same brush, baby. Don't pin everybody with the same brush.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Anybody want continue the conversation?
Yes.
They could call me.
Yes, thank you so much. So this person says drug heads and retired people be on that nice program. Retired people who done collecting $1,500 semen money. Sandy, it is known in West Bay that crackheads join the nice program along with drug dealers. And when the crackheads pay, reach it done already because they have to pay their drug bills. Listen to me. The bottom line is this. The government don't have no money, thanks to that last administration, wasting money on Tahoes, a luxurious school in Cayman Brac for depleting student population, giving out increases and honorariums to the civil service and all kind of stuff that they knew they never had. Giving $100,000 to a private institution with no degree of accountability when government know they don't have the money for all this. Giving money to churches. They are hemorrhaging money. And so now we're in a bloody deficit, and they're coming forward with more ideas about how we can waste money we don't have. We don't have it, first of all. And I want to know how many of these so-called nice workers, the caller says he's the exception, but my point is he's not the rule, he's the exception. How many of these nice program workers, right, would be on a full-time job, show up to time, show up every day, and do what they're supposed to do? They're not even doing it when it's a 2-week program. You think they want full-time work? They don't want no full-time work. Like the previous caller said, the former minister, Kenneth Bryan, told her, and I believe her, told her, don't work them too hard as a supervisor. This is our gift to them so they can have a little bit of spending money. The problem with these types of programs is they are too easy to be manipulated by politicians. And that is why I'm calling a spade here, a spade this morning. That nice program is nothing more than political vote buying. And that is why the Poor People Movement, AKA the PPM, AKA the progressives, put it in place to begin with. Vote buying. Oh, we give them a little couple $1,000s so they can buy themselves and their children something for Christmas. How does it help our people long term? You don't feed a man and give him the fish. You show him how to fish for himself so that he can be self-reliant. That's what you do. And not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. If that space isn't for you, you go out there and you get a job working with somebody else, somebody who can supervise you. And yes, they're going to tell you what to do when you work for people, when you're on their time. That's how it works. Too many other people have become lazy and entitled. And it is very, very disturbing. Get your ass up every single day and go on somebody's job, and it might not be government. Y'all see a government job as like the holy grail. And by the way, these people don't get pension or health insurance. So if this goes to a full-time program, as Kenneth Bryan was suggesting, does that mean then that they're going to be getting pension and insurance as well? That's a whole new department. And that don't make no sense. Should implement the NICE program as a year-round initiative. Stop talking foolishness, Kenneth. Get out there and try to get our people some skills. The people who are most at risk that need your help, they don't need your help with a handout. That is a temporary Band-Aid solution. You better make sure in the next 5 years they're going to be employable. You just breaking this country financially. One day they're going to come for your salary as an MP. And the people can say, you know what? We can't afford to pay you more than $5,000 a month as a minister instead of 12. Then what are you going to do? Because y'all have made poor fiscal decisions with the people's money. Or the UK is going to come over and take over because we cannot keep up with the FFR. Y'all need to stop the foolishness. Oh my God. So yes, he made comments here. I don't know if you can hear this, but he made comments here about that it was started by the UDP government, is what he says. I'm reading the transcripts. Under the leadership of the Honorable McKeeva Bush. No fucking surprise there. Excuse my French this morning. And the People's Progressive Movement administration in 2015 made amendments of its operations, and it was applied and renamed. Not an iota of a surprise there. McKeeva Bush, the biggest vote buyer in the history of the Cayman Islands. The PPM, the party that can't deliver jack shit to nobody. Poor People Movement, back at it again, buying more votes, and it's still not helping them. You know why they spent over $1 million on the election? Y'all really want to know the truth? Because a lot of that money went to buying votes. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. That's what they did with that money. Because God knows it wasn't doing that much media coverage. We got to stop this nonsense. I am sorry. But we got to do something around here. And this isn't it. You know, giving people entitlement 24/7 to be lazy and have the rest of us pay for it is absolutely ridiculous. And it is grieving me this morning. I'm sorry. I worked too hard for my 2 little 25 cents that I got and trying to rub together. Every time I gotta go to the bank and do something business-wise, I'm like, geez, I'm peace. Keep it together, girl. You gotta keep working because nobody ain't paying my bills if I don't show up. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. How are you doing today?
Not too bad, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm okay. You know, it hurts when I hear the gentleman who is one of the ones who deserves a handout, not a handout, as he stated very plainly. You know, and he is making a valid argument when it comes to the level of issues that we have here in Cayman as it pertains to actual stakeholdership of the economy and fairness in hiring practices. So there's two sides to the story, and I'm glad that the gentleman called in and spoke on that subject. But it really hurts to hear a Caymanian, a fellow Caymanian, calling because, you know, the hardworking Caymanians, the ones who want to strive forward, are being given a disservice by the situation that we have at hand. But the situation we have at hand is so complex, and there's so many issues. And to begin with, you know, the discussion surrounding NAU, I think we all know that there are people who have married and people who have destroyed marriages and then married old timers who are getting stuff from the merchant marine days, the payouts that they get. We know that there are people who are so far from being anything you could ever think about being a genuine Caymanian getting NAU funds. There is so much abuse, and it needs to be cleaned up. You know, and yes, I can certainly see that Cayman has long now been falling down the precipice of becoming a welfare state. And you're right in connecting McKeever Bush to it, along with others.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
By using the government and the
that way he keeps getting in and bogged down?
But it's all over the place, you know? It's all over the place. And I agree with what you say as well. We need, not only do we need electoral reform, but we need across the board reform in order to begin, just to even begin to mitigate what is going wrong here in Cayman. You know, I think there needs to be some kind of oversight of who gets the funds from NAU, right? Now,
and stick a pin, Jonathan.
Program,
no, you go ahead. You go ahead and finish, because I got to make a point there about this NAU thing too.
Okay. When it comes to the NICE program, you know, I agree with you 100% when you say that it needs to be overlooked better, right? I 100% agree with the sentiment that Mr. Mars is putting forth, which is, you know, the ancient proverb, which is you teach a man, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, you teach a man how to fish, you feed him for the rest of his life. And not only that, give him proper and equal and fair access to the fishing grounds. And on top of that, don't bring every Tom, Dick, and Harry and give them the right to take all the fish away from him in his own sea. Okay? Now, I agree with the man. It's being used as a welfare state. I don't even know if I'd call it vote buy-in, but it would be.
That's what it is. That's the reason why they're doing it.
Favoritism in a backhanded way, right?
Well, they're doing it so they can say,
"Oh, you get money." Who need a handout? and they should be given the hand up. But they shouldn't be given funds without oversight and without an understanding that the base problem is the work market we have in Cayman. It's not everybody in Cayman who does not work, who is a lazy person. And we have to realize that there are two sides to this factor. Yes, there are people who don't want to work. Yes, there are people who are of that grouping. But there are a lot of people in Cayman who are Caymanians who do want to find work, but have issues and problems with it day in, day out. You know, so we have to look at both sides of this equation and understand that dichotomy, that difference that exists among our population.
Thank you, caller.
Firstly, we need to look. Huh?
Thank you. We do have another caller.
Okay.
Thank you, my dear. All right. Uh-oh. The other caller had actually just hung up. Oh, gosh. All right. Call back, caller. We're going to start to wrap up now. But listen to me now. Here's a check that was given to Miss Romelia Welcome for $384 for work that she never did from this Theme Nice program. So here's an example of the current Nice program, which is only done twice, 2 weeks at a time, not even working properly. You can imagine paying somebody money who, this particular rotation, she didn't work none at all. Imagine what would happen, the abuses and the misuse, if this was a full-time situation. That's a whole government department this man is basically suggesting should be started up for the undesirables of the Cayman Islands and the people who don't want work. 97%. I'll give the previous caller the benefit of the doubt that he's not in that 97%. But this is ridiculous. All we have to do is look at Cayman Brac, and again, Juliana O'Connor Connolly, this is what she does. She creates programs, point to the overall sustainability of development on the Brac. Right now, if you're a student in Cayman Brac, your only option at graduation is to try to leave the Brac. There's no real job prospects. There's no real development. The Brac is stagnant. And it has been for over 30 years. And that woman has been in office for 30 years. So what has she done? What has Moses Kirkernel done to improve your life on the Brac? Nothing. And they have a year-round Nice program. They're giving out money year-round to people. Why? Because they have no viable solutions to encourage businesses, to help entrepreneurs grow a business, develop a business, or nothing in Cayman Brac that would actually help that country to grow a little bit and offer some opportunities. That's why if you're a druggie right now, the best place for you to go is Cayman Brac, because the drugs are flowing. The drug dealers, nobody, not stopping them over there. They do whatever they want. There's hot spots down by, I think one is down by some cemetery and one is on the other side. People constantly begging, walking up and down like zombies on Cayman Brac on drugs. And they have a full-time Nice program. And like I said, I was there and still saw plenty of trash. And so I want to know, how is it even helping the environment with the cleanup? It isn't working. So why would we take a model of something in Cayman Brac that isn't working and try to implement it here in Cayman on a bigger scale? Pick sense or nonsense. Kenneth, if this is the best idea you got coming out of the barn, please don't bother with it. That not gonna work. That not gonna work, none at all. No, sir. This ain't it. This is not it. No long-term initiatives about sustainability and how we're going to really work for our people. It's horrible. It's disgusting. Oh my God. I am done. I am done with some of you politicians. I mean, honest to God. Romelia says, Sandy, I called NAU and reported an abuse of funds through NAU. Come to my attention. Then in return, they called the culprit and told him I made the report. You see, this is the foolishness that's going on here. No, the Nice program doesn't get paid monthly, but that's what they want now. They want to make it a full-time program. Voyager says the program is nothing more than a handout for unemployable people. Best spend the money trying to get them some skills. Exactly. That is precisely my point. Upskill those people. Tracy, good morning. Tracy says, I have a head injury. I deal with really bad pain daily, and I still am here trying to work and trying to have a career. I do not want to depend on government. Thank you. Cameron, talking about you speak lovely French, Sandra. Listen to me. Brenly, thank you for your comments as well. Brenly says, how can I get on the NICE program? I need a job. Goes on to say that they only work to get enough money to buy weed and crack to sell. Like Kenneth back in the day. What a hot mess. Ms. Moya says, instead of the NICE program, why do they not add an area under DEH to cover these types of island-wide cleanups? Then have people go through the system of applying and vetted for the role. Yeah, make them apply to the civil servant like regular people. Because you know why? You know why, Moya? Because there are criteria for that kind of a job. You have to take a drug test, Bobo, when you're working for DEH. You have to stay clean. You might be subject to regular drug testing. You have to show up to work on time. You have a manual. You're part of the civil service. And if you don't do your job, you get fired. And the MPs can't interfere with that process. That is why, Moya, they don't want to do it that way. That's why they want to do it through the NICE program. So there's no regulation. There's no standards. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Paul the Man says the NICE program needs to realize that this is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Can't have gangsters and people with degrees looking real opportunities in the same program. Any kind of program. We keep talking about trade, schools, and this and that. There's a lot available already here in Cayman. And the truth of the matter is there are too many of our people who have not been taken advantage of it. Somebody is saying, Sandy, folks are getting $3,500 and a free burial vault for funerals. Imagine our children coming out of the womb having to depend on government, and they go their entire lives depending on NAU, depending on government, right up until after they drop down dead. We must turn around and bury them too. We got to stop this cycle of independence, complete reliance on the government. It's absolutely ridiculous. One problem that gets overlooked is some people that are unemployable don't really get it, that they're unemployable. They think the system is keeping them down or some other entity is preventing them from success. Never look inside themselves and come back with a, I got to do better. Can we get a kaboom for that? Let me tell you something. That is the God's honest truth. And you could be unemployable for different reasons. I'm unemployable because my mouth too big and I speak too much French. So I'm unemployable. I wouldn't recommend that you all hire me. Now, that, as it turns out, doesn't mean that I'm not smart. I don't have skills. I have multiple degrees. So what did I do with my unemployable rear end? Started my own businesses over 20 years ago and have been hustling and struggling and doing my own thing since then. That's what you might have to do when you become unemployable, your liability to the average person. I wasn't unemployable because I wasn't showing up to work, not because I'm not doing drugs, not because I don't know how to do my job or anything else. That's because when I see y'all companies out here doing the wrong thing, I'm going to say, oh no, Bobo, I can't be doing your HR for you and breaking the law. That's not going to work, and I'm going to speak out. So I became unemployable. But I looked in the mirror and I said, yes, I understand why I'm unemployable to a lot of people. And that is not going to stop me. That's not going to be a problem for me. But you know, I could do that because I have skills, honey chill. I can pick up a book and read. I know how to do QuickBooks. I've got business ideas. I've got drive. You tell me no through one door, I'm going to jump through the window and still get it done. Those are the skills that entrepreneurs need. Yeah. And that is not happening. A lot of Caymanians sit back and expect people are going to hire them when they fall into that category. And it could be that that's just not for you. So you need to find a way to get out there and hustle on your own. All right, folks. My apologies. We're going to wrap it up here. What a hot mess. Well, the motion failed, needless to say. It was not successful. And so somebody says it's called ambition. Yeah, you need that too. So it did fail. And I guess now we move on to whatever the next ridiculous motion is they're going to be wasting their times on. I will get some of the snippets. Like I said, I didn't listen to it, but I will certainly get some of the snippets from Parliament and post those up later. Kenneth, you need to cool your jets. You really need to cool your jets. You're not winning anything here. Okay. I'm sorry, but you're really not. I'd be trying to give you advice and you're just not listening, but you're not doing yourself any favors here. I would recommend that you yourself, in fact, perhaps, go to school and get yourself a little bit of education and improve on yourself, and make sure you have a plan B once your political career is over, because you don't know when that is going to be. It could be the next election. So what are you going to do after politics is over? You're going to be an unemployable, and you need to get this now. There will be no nice program that is going to help you. You're going to be an unemployable. We've seen countless politicians fall into this category, even the educated ones, much less if you don't have a piece of paper to your name. So my recommendation to you is you have got to, really focus and concentrate on the fact that you better try to upskill yourself. You can't go back into media. You think media is going to be where you can go back? No, Bobo. I've not seen anyone yet who's been a politician, got voted out by the people, and then had a successful stint in media afterwards. I stand to be corrected, but I know that there's nobody in Cayman that has done it. So I'm just saying. Yeah? That ain't going to be it. So you better come up with another plan. You better go get yourself a law degree or something. It might be too late to become a doctor. But you better do something. You say you're a tourism expert, so maybe you could open up a consulting businesses there or something. I don't know. All right, folks. That's all she wrote. It's Friday. Have yourself some fun this weekend. I'm going to have a little bit of fun, a little bit of work. And we're getting ready to launch CMR TV on Monday. So I'm so incredibly excited about that. Please tune in first thing Monday morning. I'll be the first show, I suppose, on CMR TV because I'll be streaming Monday morning. Excited, nervous, working on some technical bits still. My team says we're ready, sort of. We're getting there. And, we'll take it from there. Anybody who wants to support any of the shows that you see on CMR TV, reach out, folks. They will be selling their own little advertising packages. It's a great way to promote your businesses, of course. Strong Will says, Sandy, he can apply for Andrel job. I know he's not going to put up with the miserable people over there to work with, but anyhow, that's a whole other show topic. But yes, support them by watching the programs, reaching out to them. If you want to be a guest on some of their programs, there's a variety of different programs available. There will actually be someone who's going to be doing a business program. So those of you who want to be entrepreneurs, that's the kind of program that you will definitely want to be tuned into. All right. Until then, we got lots of work to do between now and Monday, and the work will continue after Monday. This isn't something that we just set up and forget it. We'll be onboarding more content creators as we go along. The idea is to have at least a full 12 hours of original programming every single day. That's the goal. And so we need a lot of moving parts and a lot of people to make that happen, to make that a reality. So reach out if you're interested in finding out more details. But let me be very, very clear to you. I am not here to hold your hands. Yeah? That ain't what this is about, TD or Bobo. I'm here to show you how to do it. I'm going to teach you how to be a content creator. However, You are responsible in the end for the deliverables. That is how it works. Okay? Beautiful people, please have a lovely weekend. Please be safe. All of you Honda Fit drivers, take your time, slow down. You know you already got bad luck with those vehicles. Please slow down, because y'all are like an accident magnet. Use your indicators. Stay off of the phone. If you're going to be on the phone, use your hands-free devices. Pay attention. Be, a defensive driver, meaning you're going to look out for yourself and others on the roadway. Okay? Brenly says, I'm interested. WhatsApp, email info@cmrtv.com. Send in your show ideas. I'm going to put you to the test. I'm going to stress test you to make sure it's a viable idea, and let's see how we can make it happen. You guys have a wonderful weekend. I shall see you on Monday, God's willing.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.